Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS. Let's get started and look into our daily quiz. Before we start with our today's practice questions, we have two important announcements. The first is in reference to the political thinkers and ideas topic, Niccolo Machiavelli, and this video will be uploaded exclusively on our Telegram channel. The topic can be used for your essays as well as your optional. It can be important from the political science perspective, and also do note it can also be used in ethics paper as well. The second announcement is in reference to the weekly current affairs explain session as part of the explain session. Today's topic discussion would be SEO Summit. Please do tune in live on our YouTube channel at 8 p.m. so that you understand everything about this topic. Let's get started and look into the first practice question. Consider the following statements with respect to Pradhana Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin. It is implemented by the Ministry of Housing. The identification of beneficiaries under PMAY-G is based on the housing deprivation parameters and exclusion criteria prescribed under Socio-Economic Caste Census of 2011. The cost of unit house assistance is to be shared between the central and state governments in the ratio of 60:40 for all areas. Which of the statements given above are correct? The answer to this is 2 only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu makes a reference to PMAY-G. Let us try and understand what are these options all about. When we look into the first statement, it is implemented by the Ministry of Housing. This is a wrong statement. Why? Because this particular program at the Gramin level is implemented not by the Ministry of Housing, but it is by the Ministry of Rural Development. So the first statement is wrong. When you look into the second statement, yes, the second statement is right. The identification of beneficiaries under PMAY-G is based on the housing deprivation parameters and exclusion criteria prescribed under SECC 2011. So the second statement is right. When you look into the third statement, that third statement is incorrect. That is because when you look at the assistance, this happens to be a centrally sponsored scheme. So you will have the contributions made by the central government and certain contribution made by the state governments as well. It is not the same for all areas, which basically means that if you consider the plain areas, then the central government will be contributing about 60%. When you consider the state governments, they'll be contributing about 40%. But if you consider the hilly areas, the Himalayan states, northeastern states, union territory, in that case it is 90:10. So 90% contribution will be made by the central government and 10% will be made by the state governments, and 100% financing from the center for the union territories, including the union territory of Ladakh. So remember, it is not for all areas but only for plain areas. What we have is 60:40, but for others it is 90:10. And for union territories, it will be taken up by the central government. Now, if you look into the eligibility requirements, those who are houseless families, families with houses having 0, 1 or 2 rooms with a kacha wall and kacha roof, households without a literate adult above 25 years of age, households without an adult male member aged between 16 and 59 years of age, households without any adult member between 16 and 59 years of age, households without any able-bodied members and with a disabled member, landless households who derive income from casual labor, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, others and minorities are entitled and are eligible under this particular program. Now let's look into the next practice question. Who among the following are considered as Tanjavur Quartet? Chinnaya, Nikaran, Ponnaya, Sendumarai, Shivanandam, Vadivelu. The answer to this is 1, 3, 5 and 6 only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu makes a reference to the Bharatnatyam. So if we speak about Bharatnatyam, Bharatnatyam dance is known to be Ekaharya. What do you mean by Ekaharya? Where one dancer takes on many roles in a single performance, which is called as Ekaharya. In the early 19th century, the famous Tanjavur Quartet under the patronage of Raja Sarfoji are said to have been responsible for the repertoire of Bharatanatyam dance as we see it today. So who are these Tanjavur Quartet? This includes 4 brothers, which includes Chinnaya, Ponnaya, Shivanandam as well as Vadivelu. So the Tanjavur quartet are the brothers which included these four members who formalized Bharatanatyam into a meticulous art form in the 19th century. So remember, this can be important from the preliminary examination point of view. Now let's look at some of the important factual data with respect to Bharatanatyam. Bharatanatyam is an important classical dance form in India. It originated in the temples of South India, particularly in Tamil Nadu. It used to be performed by Devadasis, thus it was also called as Dasiyattam. Believed to be about 2000 years old, information about Bharatanatyam can be found in many ancient texts, including Bharata Muni's Natya Shastra. The main source of study for the techniques of body movements in dance form is Abhinaya Dharpana by Nandikeshwara. The precursor dance form to Bharatanatyam happens to be Sadir. The Brihadeshwara temple at Tanjavur has been a center of Bharatanatyam for many years. These are some of the important factual data with respect to Bharatanatyam. Now let's look into the next practice question. Many foreign travelers visited and left a valuable account of the Vijayanagara Empire. Who among the following did not visit the empire? Abdul Razak, Domingo Pace, Francis Bernier, and Nicole de Conti. The answer to this is Francois Bernier. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu makes a reference to the Vijayanagara Empire. Let us try and understand what are these options. When we look into the first option, yes, Abdul Razak did visit the Vijayanagara Empire. He happened to be an Islamic scholar. He was an historian who visited the Vijayanagara Empire during the time of Devaraya II, the greatest ruler of the Sangama dynasty. So remember, he came when we had Devaraya II who was heading the administration. Then we have Domingo Pace. He was a traveler from Portuguese. He also did visit the Vijayanagara Empire as well. His visit took place during the rule of Krishna Deva Raya. Then we have Francis Bernier. He did not visit the Vijayanagara Empire. He was a French physician, political philosopher, traveler and historian. Lived in India for 12 years. He was associated with Mughal court as a personal physician of Dara Shikoh, and Francois explained the battle for the throne among the four sons of Shah Jahan, which spanned 5 years, tracing the characteristic traits of each of his sons. Finally, what we have is Niccolo di Conti. He happened to be an Italian traveler. He visited India and probably after the accession of Devaraya II. As part of the assignment, you have to put on the comment section who are the other foreign travelers who had visited the Vijayanagara Empire. We have about 3 that is mentioned in this question. Who are the others? Please put it on the comment section. Now let's look into the next practice question. Nediyathuruthu Island, recently seen in news, is in the state or the union territory of Karnataka, Kerala, Lakshadweep, Tamil Nadu. The answer to this is Kerala. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu makes a reference to Nediyathuruthu Island, which is on Vembanad Lake in Kerala. So there are 2 important pointers from the preliminary examination point of view. One happens to Nediyathuruthu Island. Where is it? It is in the state of Kerala. Where is it? On the Vembanad Lake. And the second aspect is the Vembanad Lake in itself. This Vembanad Lake happens to be the longest lake in India as well as the largest lake in the state of Kerala. It is the second largest Ramsar site in India, only after the Sundarbans in the West Bengal, and the Government of India has identified the Vembanad wetland under the National Wetlands Conservation Program. It is in the state of Kerala. So where is it located? It is in this part of Kerala that we have the Vembanad Lake. Now let us look at some important factual data with respect to the Vembanad Lake. The Vembanad Lake is officially called as Vembanad Coal Wetland. The lake is recognized as the wetland with international significance by the Ramsar Convention. This is why the convention works towards conservation and sustainability of this wetland. What is the ecological importance of the lake? The lake serves ecology in various ways. It helps to recharge groundwater, moderate droughts, stream flow regulation. Both aquatic and semi-aquatic plants and animals consider this lake as their habitat, which again contributes to the sustainability of the terrestrial animals. Besides, many people living on the shore depend on the lake. The occupation they are involved includes fishing, tourism, coal rating, inland navigation, lime shell and agriculture. And when we look into this article, the Supreme Court has ordered the raising of the high-end resort. That is because it has violated the coastal and the environment regulations. So all the villas, the buildings in this part of the island will be completely destroyed. Now let's look into the next practice question. With reference to Indian economy, consider the following statement. A share of the household financial savings goes towards government borrowings. Dated securities issued at market related rates in auctions form a larger component of internal debt. Which of the above statements are correct? The answer to this is both 1 and 2. This happens to be a previous year question from the year 2022. So if we look into the first statement, when we speak about savings, savings basically include all the money that we have in the bank. It also relates to the pension schemes as well, insurance, and all this become part of the household financial savings. So a share of the household financial savings goes towards the government borrowings. Yes, this statement is right. And the dated securities issued at the market related rates in auctions form a larger component of internal debt. This statement is also right. Now let's look into the fact of the day. The fact of the day for today's discussion is Qutb Shahi architecture. First, let us understand few facts with respect to the Qutb Shahi dynasty and then look into some of the architectural marvels of this dynasty. The Qutb Shahi dynasty or the Golconda Sultanate was known as the ruling family of the Sultanate of Golconda. This is situated in the southern part of India. The Qutb Shahi dynasty was ruled by the Shia Muslims who belonged to the Turkmen tribe from the Turkmenistan Armenia region. This dynasty was founded by Sultan Quli Qutb ul Mulk back in the year 1518. The dynasty ruled for 171 years until the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb's army conquered Golconda in 1687. What are the architectural marvels of the Qutb Shahi dynasty? The first happens to be Golconda. This is a fortified citadel and an early capital of Qutb Shahi dynasty. It is an ensemble of military structures, ramparts, gates, bastions, armory, religious structure such as mosques, temples, residential structures such as palaces, water systems such as canal mountains and landscape gardens. Because of the vicinity of diamond mines, especially Kollur mine, Golconda flourished as a trade center of larger diamonds known as the Golconda diamonds. The region has produced some of the world's most famous diamonds, including the colorless Kohinoor, which is now owned by United Kingdom. The next, as part of the Qutb Shahi architecture, happens to be the Qutb Shahi tombs. The complex consists of 30 tombs, mosques and mortuary bath. The tombs belong to the rulers of the Qutb Shahi dynasty, their queens and children, and the nobles who faithfully serve them. They resemble Persian, Pathan, Hindu architectural styles that make use of grey granite with stucco ornamentation and is one of its kind place in the world where the whole dynasty is buried at a single spot. These are exquisite structures where every arch, column, dome minarets and galleries were created with finesse and are surrounded by landscape gardens called as the Ibrahim Bagh. So remember, we have the Golconda, Qutb Shahi tomb and finally the Charminar, which belongs to the Qutb Shahi architecture. When we speak about Charminar, the city of Hyderabad served as the capital of Qutb Shahis, the Asaf Jahi Nizams as well. Charminar stands at the crossing of two artificial axes in the old city of Hyderabad and forms the symbolic fulcrum of the city with its four gateways oriented towards the cardinal directions. Contemporary historical sources date the Charminar's construction to the year 1000 AH as the first building in Sultan Muhammad Quli Qutb Shah's new city of Hyderabad outside the Golconda fort, and Charminar was the first instrument in the world constructed using lime mortar and granite. It was only after its construction that the architects throughout the world recognized the strength of lime mortar in raising huge structures. These are some of the architectural marvels with respect to the Qutb Shahi dynasty, the Qutb Shahi architecture, and this can be very important from the prelims as well as the mains perspective. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching. All the best.